Have you ever witnessed a moment so unexpected that it changed the way an entire room thought about respect? It happened inside a quiet martial arts dojo. The mats were bright. The air smelled faintly of polish and sweat. Students stood in crisp white uniforms, their belts tied proudly around their waists. Among them, a young man stood tall, confident, almost cocky. His karate gi was spotless. His black belt gleamed like a trophy. He grinned as his eyes locked on someone sweeping the floor. "Hey," he laughed, pointing. "Why don't you spar with me? For fun." The room burst into laughter. Students whispered, nudged each other. To them, it was a joke. A janitor against a trained fighter? Impossible. But the janitor, a strong 28-year-old black man, dressed in nothing more than a plain training shirt, didn't flinch. He didn't even look offended. His face stayed calm, his eyes steady. The arrogant fighter stepped closer, smirking. "You've been watching us long enough. Let's see what you've got." The janitor shook his head quietly. "I'm here to work, not to fight." But his refusal only fueled more laughter. "Oh, come on, what's the matter? Afraid?" The students chanted. The pressure grew. Even the dojo master, a man with wise eyes, stayed silent. Finally, after a long pause, the master spoke. "Let him choose." The janitor set the broom aside. He didn't smile. He didn't boast. He simply nodded. "I'll spar." The room fell silent. Students rushed into a circle, whispering with excitement. The black belt fighter bowed with exaggerated flair, grinning as if the match was already his. The janitor bowed too, quiet, respectful. The signal was given. Immediately, the fighter charged. Fast, loud, flashy. Punches sliced the air. Kicks cracked like whips. But the janitor stepped aside, effortless, smooth, precise. Gasps rippled through the circle. Each strike missed. Each attempt fell short. The fighter's grin faded as frustration took over. The janitor moved like water, flowing, unshaken, calm. But the janitor didn't strike back. He waited. He watched. Every movement measured. The arrogant fighter grew sloppy, his breathing heavier, his confidence unraveling. Silence spread across the room. Then, in a flash, the janitor moved. One step, one counter. His hands stopped, just inches from the fighter's chest. Deadly accurate, controlled. The black belt froze. Eyes wide. He knew if that strike had landed, the fight would already be over. The crowd erupted in disbelief. The janitor lowered his hands slowly. No gloating, no taunting. Instead, he spoke. "Strength isn't in the belt you wear. It's in the discipline you carry." The words cut deeper than any strike. The fighter, red-faced and trembling, lowered his eyes, and for the first time that day, he bowed with genuine respect. Around them, the students whispered. The laughter was gone. What remained was awe. The dojo master stepped forward, smiling faintly. "You all see him as just a janitor," he said. "But once, he was more skilled than any of you here." Gasps echoed through the room. He was a national-level martial artist, a man who could have chased trophies, but he chose humility. He chose to live quietly. That is real strength. The students stared in shock, minds reeling. The janitor said nothing, no boasting, no explanation. He simply picked up his broom and returned to his work. His humility shone brighter than his skill. The black belt approached, bowed deeply, his voice low, humbled. "I'm sorry. Thank you for teaching me." The janitor only nodded. A faint smile flickered across his face. The dojo fell into silence. The master's final words echoed, "Never judge a man by his uniform." Sometimes, the quietest person in the room holds the loudest lesson. And now I want to hear from you. Would you have stepped into that match? Take a moment. Imagine standing there, in front of everyone, underestimated, mocked, laughed at, and then proving that real strength has nothing to do with titles or uniforms. Comment below what you would have done, because your perspective matters, and your story might inspire someone else who's watching. And if this lesson touched you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, a teammate, or someone who needs a reminder that humility and respect will always outshine arrogance. Because sometimes the quietest people carry the strongest lessons. And maybe, today, this story reminded you of your own.